I'm Nina Christian, and I help people build a powerful and connected brand through content marketing. And there are a few main pillars to that, and that's what I'm going to share today. I'm going to tell you the 3 things that you need to build a powerful and connected brand. I am going to give you some insights into what's inside each of those 3 things. So some really practical, actionable tips that you can take and apply to your own brand, be it personal or business. I get to tell you a little bit about how I got into this and why it became so important to me and why I really see this as the future of marketing. And I'm also going to share what happens if you miss one of those critical elements, because you can then end up spending so much time on your marketing or on your brand building. And if you're missing one of those critical things, you really just can be like on a hamster wheel, like really working hard but not going the distance. So there we go. It's a strong and powerful and compelling brand, because that's what you need, because it's no secret that there's so much noise in the marketplace. Everyone's competing for your attention. Everybody's gone online. And how do you, as a person or a business, how do you actually stand out? So I'm not going to keep you in suspense and wait till right till the end of the broadcast to tell you what those 3 things are. I'm just going to give it to you up front. So the main 3 pillars that you need to build a strong, connected brand, without which it's not going to be effective or sustainable, because you can, do stuff for a month and then like fly out. But the 3 things are, number 1, high caliber content. So my gem is thought leadership content, but there's other types of content as well, and I will tell you about that. And really, you just need one. And if you do that consistently, that is a very, very solid pillar to grow a brand. The second is the actual brand. So there is more than just logos and more than just visuals. It's about the messaging. It's about how people resonate with you. It's about what you believe in and what you stand for. And it's about the emotional connection. And then the third thing, which a lot of people don't get, and the one that I definitely have learned through experience, and I think is probably one of the hardest ones, if not the hardest ones. The third one, which is super challenging for most people, is around the systems. So you can have the best content and the best branding, but if you don't have the systems in place to do it on a regular basis, the processes, you will find that you will exhaust yourself very, very quickly, or you will be very scattered and inconsistent, and that doesn't make for a cohesive, strong brand. And a few years ago, so I've been very keenly watching how the marketplace is going, how people are building brands, what people are doing differently. And this was all pre-coronavirus, obviously. I could see the need for people to be able to connect with brands at a deeper level. And so I knew that. And the part that was putting out the high caliber content or the thought leadership content, that part wasn't new. I was kind of used to doing that, having been a professional marketer, doing this for like over 20 years and doing it for, so many different clients, and, having teams that did that, and I had very high expectations. So that, as in standards around what kind of content we would put out. So that would be okay. And then the branding part was also okay, because as a brand marketer, I kind of get the whole thing about, brand archetypes and, brand being more than a logo. And it's your reputation. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. It's the emotional connection. It's how people feel about you when you say their name. It's the X factor of what motivates someone to pick one brand or person over another. And I was kind of okay with that as well. And within a structured marketing agency environment, there are systems and there are processes, and it is easier in many cases to follow. But what I found is a lot of even marketing agency owners struggled to build their own brands. They were great at building other people's brands, and they found it really difficult to build their own brands. And then at kind of another level of that, I saw the increase in people needing to build personal brands, and all of what goes into that, which is effectively like marketing yourself like a brand. It's what agencies have done for, decades for businesses. And now all of a sudden, people are expected to show up and know how to do this branding for themselves. And a big part of it, so for personal brands, obviously the the high caliber content and the branding is a challenge, but the systems that's tough for everybody. And so what happened a few years ago, I'd started a membership for young marketers, and I was doing a few different initiatives online, and I realized that I had so much content and I had so much good stuff, but I actually struggled to publish it consistently, and I struggled to get that out there. So rather than fighting against that, I literally shut everything down for about 3 months and focused squarely on building out the right systems for that, because this is all separate to agency work, separate to agency clients. This was stuff that for me and my brands, and I didn't have a whole lot of time to do that, and so I needed to find more efficient ways to do that, and that led me to go deeper into creating different systems. And so once I did, I started sharing these with other marketing agencies, I started sharing them with brands, I started implementing them for my clientele, and basically turbocharging the amount of content that they were able to put out, basically putting it onto steroids, like massive increase very quickly. And then I started training other people in how to do that as well, because it's just a skill that everybody needs. That's pretty much just how this all happened. And then I realized that to get this information out that so many people needed, I actually needed to then be more visible and build my own personal brand, or be more intentional around it. And that didn't come naturally. I really struggled with it for a long time. Contrary to what you might think, I show up and I'm like, oh, on the camera, but go back 20 years, I'd be even too scared about having my name published anywhere. And I remember one instance in particular, I think a journalist writing for Australia Post, because we were one of their success stories back then, they wanted to feature us in a magazine. She said, I need some quotes for you. And I said this, the whole, I don't want my name out there and all that. I'm a very private person. She's like, well, how the heck, we need to attribute these quotes to someone. How are you going to grow your brand? So I then very reluctantly agreed to have my name published. And I think if probably on my LinkedIn profile or on my website somewhere, you can probably even see that article and others. But the point is, it didn't come naturally. I haven't been out there for like 20 years waving a flag trying to build it, but I realized that it was a huge necessity in this time. If you miss one of those 3 key elements, so you've got high caliber content, which is thought leadership for most people here. If you're Red Bull, it might be entertainment, but let's assume right now it's thought leadership. It's high caliber content. It's content that positions you as an expert, or someone who's at least unfolding as one. It's fine to document the journey as well. You don't have to have it made to be sharing things. If you miss that, then you can have super cool branding, you can have the systems that will put it all out there nicely and on repeat, but if there's no substance to what you're saying, if you're not affecting a transformation in someone's life or business, the content is hollow, it's flat, and it doesn't resonate, and it doesn't take people further along the customer journey. Conversely, if you have really great content, high caliber thought leadership content, and you don't have the branding, if you don't have the visuals, you don't have the right messaging dialed in, you don't have the clarity around how that's going to resonate with people based on shared values, you don't have an understanding of the different elements around your brand voice and your personality and the consistency there. So the way a brand would show up differently in different contexts, yet have consistency and continuity weaved through. You can have the best information, but it's not going to get cut through, and it's not going to get connected. And in many cases, it may not even get seen. So you all remember those websites from, 10, 15 years ago, which were just, ghastly, like bright blue and bright green with time, full of one big paragraph and Times New Roman. They might have been saying something very profound. It might have been the most prolific thought leadership, but because it wasn't presented in a way that was attractive and palatable, a lot of it wouldn't have gotten read even. And so today it would be even more so, because people are just like very, very brand aware. So having that branding is also what facilitates the emotional connection. So the thought leadership will position you as an authority, but it's the branding that really brings in that connection piece. And when you do branding very strategically, to align with your business goals and also how you want to show up in the marketplace, it then becomes the whole package. And then the third one around the systems and processes. So you can have epic thought leadership. You can have beautiful, connected branding, but if you don't have the systems to be able to do that on repeat, on autopilot, but not necessarily autopilot in that you just switch it on and forget about it, because social media is exactly that. It's social. So you need to be there. You need to be connected. You need to have your fingers on the pulse. You need to be putting out fresh stuff, not just regurgitated stuff all the time. And you need systems to actually feed your high-level thought leadership content into that, then actually will then add like a master chef, add all the right branding elements, at the right tone, the right messaging, and then kind of cookie cutter spit that out in a way that is going to build your brand and resonate with your audience. And if you don't have that, you've got this awesome content that's sitting there dormant. And the systems is the tough piece, and the systems is the bit that I struggled with for a long time. Not as an agency doing it for clients, that's fine, because they had their team, like they had their budget, and they had the structure around service delivery for I would have my copywriter, my designer, my journalist, my all marketing person, etc., all doing it. But when it came to personal, people really struggled. And so I really set out to say, all right, how can people who want to be positioned in the marketplace, they want to build a brand, they want to be known as an expert, or they want to at least connect with people and have that visibility, how can they do that when they don't have like a whole agency team? So anyway, so looking at these systems, it's really important. And just to go a little bit deeper into what the systems are, they are the things around what infrastructure you need to get your message out, what frequency and what cadence you're going to get it out on a regular basis, and how and what you're going to delegate, what you're going to do yourself, and having that processized so you don't have to show up and think. You want to put your thought power into creating awesome content. You want to put your creativity into coming up with things that are new and fresh. You don't want to have to put your expend all the energy each time trying to work out what you're going to publish and where. So anyway, they're the three things that you need, and what happens if you miss one, and also some of the key elements for each of those. And just to recap, we have covered off on the three things that you will need to know to grow a brand in 2021. Well, not things that you need to know, rather things you need to do. So number one, you need to have your high caliber content, whether that's thought leadership or other, and I talk a lot about that, so check out my profile if you want more information on that. The second thing you need is a very the solid branding around everything that you're doing, and then the third thing is the systems to power that and make it happen. If you want more information, if you're looking to build out your own thought leadership practice or to build a personal brand, I've just completed a really cool guide, which is the I think I've called it the ultimate roadmap to becoming a respected and connected thought leader, at step by step. So very clearly mapped out different steps you need to take. You can grab it at ninachristian.com/roadmap. And if you enjoyed this, I would appreciate it if you could share it with someone who you know needs to build a personal brand, who this is going to help. I would love that. Thanks very much for joining, and I'll see you later. Bye.